Alrighty.
I got there's my YouTube.
Okay. Tell I haven't used my tablet on this app in a while because I'm still on last week's stream.
Right, date is correct, so that's good.
That's good. Good start. Good start.
What's
Alright.
today's T-shirt?
Brian Pillman Jr. that I bought from Brian Pillman Jr. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. It's up. It's up loud. My tablet's up. All right.
Is that a symbol or something? I'm like trying to decipher.
That's the rogue horseman symbol that Brian Pillman Sr. used when he was a member of the Four Horsemen, but went on was a loose cannon and went to ECW. And you know what? That's something we gotta do a watch along with. We gotta watch some Brian Pillman for you. You gotta watch some Brian Pillman.
Just not Dark Side of the Ring, Brian Pillman.
Yeah, why not do that one?
Okay. Okay.
All right, let's put this out there on the Twitter. All right. And the Facebook. And there's no way of putting it on Instagram, or else I'd do that too.
I guess you could take a picture.
When do you have an Instagram?
I've had an Instagram forever. Ray's in the house. SCU. Yeah, I use Instagram more than Facebook nowadays. And hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of the Just Us Marks Wrestling Recap Show. I am the Athletic Geek, joined on the other end of the Tin Cannon String with CJ of Team All Zero.
Yo.
And Easy.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever the hell you're watching this.
Yes, and Nick is kind of a play-by-ear. The man's got kids, so we gotta respect that. And he might be coming.
Kids, man.
Kids. I always have like the third option is always somebody who has kids, and it's like, okay, yeah, they may show up, they may not. Jedi, yeah. Always that third person. So Nick might be able to join us, he might not. So yeah, big week to talk about. We got a pay-per-view from the WWE on Sunday. We had what was almost the equivalent of a pay-per-view yesterday, and we got another show in that building tomorrow night. So lots of stuff to talk about, but if you've never seen this show before, this is the Just Us Marks Wrestling Recap Show. I met CJ locally, and I met Easy at All In, and if Nick shows up, I met him at school. And we all love wrestling. We love watching wrestling. We love sharing our love of pro wrestling with other passionate wrestling fans like each and every one of you out there. However, just like each and every one of you out there, we are just fans. We avoid insider terms and our opinions of that of any other fan because at the end of the day, we're not insiders. We're not in the business. We're not wrestlers. We's just a bunch of marks. A bunch of stupid marks that don't think like we's in the business.
Or Tommy Wiseau's marks. Oh, hi, Mark.
And we'll start off with the thing that nobody, might be a good thing, but nobody really wants to talk about. And that is Extreme Rules 2021. It is this Sunday. There will not be a competition for this one, but speaking of competition, the prizes have been sent out. Ray, you should be getting yours sometime soon. Yeah, so all the prizes. Thank you all for playing the all-out competition. But the next ones are going to be Survivor Series and Full Gear. So yeah, Miss Ace is in the house, and yeah, let's get to our
perfect timing for me to start drinking.
What are you drinking?
Oh yeah, so there's going to be a new thing that I'm going to be doing for these shows. And to also support local colas out there, I'm going to be taste testing some colas. So today, by choice from the Geek, we have some Pig Iron Cola based out of Seattle, Washington from the Pig Iron Barbecue. And how fitting that a certain somebody from Seattle had a pretty awesome match yesterday.
Yes, indeed.
So let's see. It smells pretty good. Let's see how it tastes. Oh wow, really dark.
Okay.
Not bad though. This is good.
It sweet? Is it sweet? Is it kind of tart for a cola?
It's tart. It's tarty, definitely.
Okay.
sweet much. I'm getting like the sweet aftertaste of it, but yeah. If you look up pig iron cola, that is what I am drinking today. And no, and it's never happening that I'm not getting drunk off this. So
What
unlike
Easy
a
doesn't
certain
know
little
is it's a hard
competition.
cola.
Uh,
Uh,
no, I checked. I got it at a candy store, like most awesome local colas. But if
so
you
for,
got a request for a local cola for me to try, let me know on the Twitter.
yeah, actually, I might have to send you some. There's some around here. We'll have to hook you up with. But
I actually saw there was one cola I saw that was actually based out of St. Louis, but they didn't have like cola. It was just like the fruity flavored soda and all that. It's like, yeah, not doing that. I want some cola.
you ever had ski?
Ski, I have not.
Yeah, we'll have to send you some ski. It's not cola, but ski. Ski's good.
Ah,
I think they
Um,
have
ski.
a cola.
what's that?
I think they have a cola.
They do have a cola. I've never had ski. Well, that's something I might need.
There's 1,000 different flavors of ski. I've got a friend from work who is a ski magnate.
Gotcha. Well, all right. So first match is Liv Morgan versus Carmela. Easy. Who you picking in this one?
Liv versus Carmela. Can I buy a vowel? Damn it.
Drink Fago. No,
Um,
that's okay. I'm not down with the Fago.
um, I'm gonna say Liv Morgan because what the hell have they done to Carmela? I don't know. It's one of those don't know, don't care, don't give. Have fun, go nuts.
Yeah.
Oh wow, they're actually in Columbus this weekend. This is how much I'm not really
I
paying
must say, I
attention.
will give them credit. I mean, I'm sure more matches may be added after SmackDown tomorrow, but half of this card are women's matches. So good on them.
You know, for a pay per view called Extreme Rules, they could have made this an extreme match.
I don't think there are any extreme matches on this card.
There
There
are
are.
none.
There's
Are there?
one. There's one.
Okay, there's one.
Is it
Oh,
Is it
wow.
just a ladder match?
No, it's an
There's
Extreme Rules match.
Okay.
Well,
uh,
um, all right. So the next or CJ, who you picking in this one?
Carmela, because it doesn't even matter.
I'm going Carmella as well because you're right. It in fact does not matter, but at least there's some
like,
depth to the division, kind of foreshadowing something we might be talking about very shortly. All right. Next match, the Usos, Jimmy and Jay Uso versus Street Profits, Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford. Tag team match for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. CJ, who you picking and why in this one?
It's gonna be the Usos because that's the way they do things, and I'm not thrilled about it. It's
Mm-hmm.
fine. Everything's fine.
is
Yeah.
it Bullet Club is fine, fine?
There's a
Uh,
grading scale of fines with me.
or no, is it Dark Level, everything is fine? Or
It's
Dark Order level?
it's things are on fire. Fine.
It's the dog drinking the coffee in the house
Fine.
level of
Yeah,
fine.
I know. I got the
Yeah.
Yeah.
reference.
Easy, who you picking in this one?
Um, I honestly sometimes don't mind seeing the Street Profits as champions again, but unfortunately, it just looks like it's going to be the Usos again. But in a good way, it's going to keep, I guess, the quote unquote the bloodline in order because we can't call it the New Shields. It's going to keep the tag titles with the Familia, or however you say it in Polynesia. Sorry. But hopefully, I don't know. Let's hope for a good match. That's what I would go for. Tag team matches can be main events, you know.
Yeah. Next match, triple threat match for the United States Championship. Damien Priest versus Jeff Hardy versus Sheamus. Oh, I'm also going Usos in that one. I'm going Usos. Under duress. But easy, who you picking in this one?
I'm definitely going with Jeff Hardy, and I feel like they're gonna have Hardy win this, so that way this will further prevent him from joining the T-shirt company.
You really think
But
he's
that's
gonna
just my theory.
you really think he's gonna go to AEW?
I honestly, I would kind of like it with him joining forces with his brother to run Hardy Family House, and then at some point, we could finally see the Hardys go for maybe one final tag team run before they can officially just retire themselves from in-ring competition or as a tag team. So, I don't
And see,
just
I'm kind of the opposite. That is one tag team where I'm very much okay with leaving the memories alone.
well, but just imagine just the AEW World Tag Titles, the last championship they won, and just think about like the gigantic resume they've had with winning tag titles, and especially from like a lot of major promotions.
Yeah,
They
that's
haven't
cool.
wait.
That's
They
cool.
haven't won.
But
Hold up. They haven't won New Japan, have they?
no,
Okay. Oh. Okay, that's another theory for another day.
I don't foresee them ever going to New Japan. I don't. They the Matt can't keep up with New Japan.
Hmm.
I'm not even trying to be an asshole, Matt Hardy, but like I'm
Yeah,
kind of.
that's
I
not good.
love Matt Hardy, but
Yeah,
I am very much over that guy
yeah.
right now.
I'm going with Jeff Hardy.
You're going with Jeff Hardy, but okay. So CJ
Priest.
going Priest. Yeah, I think he's doing an all right job with this. So
Yeah, I guess they
what
kind of
the
like
fuck?
him.
What the actual fuck is going on? I'm
Uh-oh.
getting.
What?
Let me know if you can still see me. I'm getting the
Yeah, we can see you.
I can
I'm
see you fine.
I'm getting the classic air message.
No, we see you.
So
No issue.
Rabo says drink
yeah,
Fago.
I
I've
already
heard of that.
acknowledge that. So
Okay, so I didn't hear him. I almost read that wrong as something else, which I'm not definitely not going to say.
yeah, that's the IC. Like, it's not the ICP's drink, but it's the drink that they drink, and I'm not down with the Fago. All right. So next match, Charlotte versus Alexa Bliss, singles match for the Raw Women's Championship. CJ, who you picking in this one?
I'm gonna go Alexa Bliss. Just I think that we're gonna see a rapid Charlotte drop it, Charlotte pick it back up, Charlotte drop it, just so they can get her count up.
Or will they?
I think they will. But I think that
Considering what's
Alexa,
been happening the last few weeks involving another Flair, but that's just me.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
Why should his daughter be? I mean, like, we're not going to get into that situation. It's wrong. It's tarnished legacy. That's all that needs to be said. But why should his daughter be punished? What has she done wrong?
I don't know. There's a lot of things WWE has done as punishment for
I get the
stupid
punishment, but I'm
things.
saying, like, just from a moral perspective, what good does that do to punish Charlotte?
I don't know.
Other than expedite the process of still getting a member of that family into AEW.
Your guess is as good as mine, honestly.
Yeah, because like that's Charlotte. Charlotte shouldn't be punished for that shit. Like, that's just bullshit. I'm going Alexa Bliss, but not so much because of like the Charlotte loses Charlotte. Although I can see them trying that. I feel like you need like it's time for Bliss to have a title run again under this character. Again for her career and for the first time under this character. It's time. It's time to see what can be done with that. So yeah, I'm going Alexa Bliss in this one. All right. Next
I'll go
match.
with Alexa as well.
Okay. Next
Just please
match.
get rid of that Lily doll. I'm already over it.
no, the Lily doll sells out.
Mm.
That's staying.
So has the Fiend merchandise, but look
Uh-huh.
what happens.
Well, it's they passed on the character to Alexa, so
Because they still didn't want to explain why she did what she did. But okay.
Yep.
My
Uh,
Personally, they didn't explain.
Next match for the Universal Championship. Roman Reigns, the champion, versus the Demon, Finn Balor. Easy. Who you picking and why?
For the love of God, I really wish it's going to be the Demon, just to finally see him as champion again. But I know that it's going to be Roman Reigns because there's a certain pay-per-view that we definitely never ever want to acknowledge or talk about that's already been billed for Roman to fight Brock Lesnar. So it's going to be Roman Reigns, of course.
Yep. The tribal chief will destroy the demon, and there we go.
And I will cry.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say this much about Roman. As long as they don't feed him to Lesnar at that show, then I'm really interested to see who wins the Royal Rumble and who gets a piece of Roman Reigns. I really like. That's got to happen. You really got a really well told story there with the Rumble winner finally being the one to dethrone the tribal chief. But unfortunately, it could also be The Rock. So
Yeah.
who knows? Who knows? CJ, are you picking Roman Reigns as well, or you got hope for the demon?
Yeah. I'm rooting for the demon. I don't want to see the demon character get buried, but that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So,
Just like how NXT got buried.
I'm going to be drinking not just cola and crying on
And
Sunday.
so you're gonna have a rum and coke.
Jack and Coke.
Oh, okay. Actually, I kid you not, for the longest time as a kid, that I thought it was literally pronounced rum and coke, not rum in coke. I was a little kid.
If you no I'm saying, like, if you actually drank, like, that'd be kind of like fun. I could, like, make you a little glass and put rum and coke in it and go, like, here's your rum
No,
and coke, but you don't drink, so I can't do
not
that.
happening.
All
Or
right.
he tricked me in saying, "Here, here's a new kind of local cola. I just secretly spiked it with a little something something."
We brought you a Caribbean cola.
Uh-huh.
So no joke, Nick, if Nick listens, either jumps in this call or listens to this later. There was one time, because back about 10 years ago, Nick was living the CM Punk life, and I was not. And
Shocker.
I got addicted to these, and you can call them a bitch beer all you want. I got addicted to them. The Smirnoff Ice Green Apples, and
Oh,
like,
the
but like they like, if you drank them, they tasted like zero like alcohol. Like, there was like they tasted straight up just like green apple soda.
oh
So
wow.
yeah, so they were like, I would pound a bunch of them thinking I was drinking a soda, and then realize, like, oh geez, this is not good, because I just drank 7 of them in 2 hours.
We have a hello from Nicholas Pelker. What's up?
Oh, hey, that Nick, I'm talking about this prank out where me and I thought about pulling on you before James told me out of it. So I thought about, like, getting a 2-liter bottle and go, like, hey Nick, would you like some green apple soda? And then pour it in there. And you're like, hey, it's pretty good. It's like, yeah, it's alcohol. And then you probably never spoke to me again. But all right, well, Nick's in the house, in spirit, at least in the chat. Not on the call, but that's okay. He is here. He's chatting, and he can let his opinions be known in that comment section when we start talking about something else after this final prediction. What is billed as the main event on Wikipedia: Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair for the SmackDown Women's Championship. CJ, who you picking in this one?
Becky. I'm still not sold on this, but they're going to push Becky.
Yeah, straight edge for life. Are you back? Are you back on the straight edge bandwagon? Because I know after All In, you were not on that straight edge bandwagon. We drank a lot of beer that night. Easy. Who you picking?
God, I'm only hoping because again, I loved her reign until it was ruined by a certain somebody. So I actually want to see Bianca win back the belts.
Yeah, WWE has managed to do the impossible with me. Make me dislike Becky Lynch and want Bianca Belair to beat her, and that's what my heart wants. But my head says Becky Lynch is back, and fuck everybody. So I'm going with Becky Lynch to retain in this one. yeah. Beer and cigarettes are overpriced in Chicago.
Oh God.
Yeah. Which is why for our tailgate party, we bought beer down here in Southern Illinois and transported it up to Chicago.
True story.
Yeah. I remember trying to smoke some of the American spirits to see if that would help me bring my voice back after all of that. That was a bad idea.
That was a really bad idea.
That was a bad idea. I was drinking. I literally. CJ appreciate this story. After that show, I literally went into a Target Starbucks and kind of raspily told the barista, "I have a sore throat. Can you help me?" And she's like, "I know exactly what to make you." And it was good and it helped, but it didn't. It was like temporary help. And then I was just like eating cough drops like candies. And then I tried smoking, just like, oh, maybe that'll help, because Nick said sometimes that helps, and this was not one of the sometimes.
Because you watched a bunch of 1950s ads that said smoking is good for your breathing and your throat.
Maybe. I mean, I always wondered watching. I Love Lucy why Ricky's smoking when he's got to sing later on in the evening.
Because Lucy is stressful.
I gather that
and
now.
The show was sponsored by Philip Morris, who I guess didn't sold cigars back then, because seriously, you have Cuban-born basically playing himself.
That's good, Nick.
Do you
That's
really
good.
see him smoking cigarettes, though? Like, most Cubans smoke cigars, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I think at that point they had actually kind of started an embargo and taxation thing on Cuban goods, because that
is true.
The start of communism down there.
Yeah. Thanks, Castro.
Yeah.
But yeah, everybody kind of smoked at that period of time. But yeah, Lucy being stressful is probably a good reason. Oh, also something else that's fun: watch the old episodes of the Flintstones and watch them do advertisements for Winston cigarettes. Winston cigarettes and Busch beer.
Okay, the Busch beer ones I don't know about.
Oh yeah, there's there's Busch beer. Yeah.
I see this.
Yeah. All right, so we're not gonna be lighting up cigarettes, but we're gonna light the fuse and bring the boom here. It is time for AEW Dynamite Grand Slam discussion. And well, the first match, they come out of the gate swinging with what a lot of people are considering the match of the year. American Dragon Brian Danielson versus Kenny Omega. I'm going to let everybody else talk first, and then I will put my opinion in at the very end. So, CJ, you start.
Oh, I get to start?
You get to start.
I'll keep it short. That was a really good match.
Yeah, because that's why you're going first.
Yeah, that's
I am the reason the show goes on for an hour.
No, that was
an hour's not bad. It's when we get into 2. That's when like it's special episode time.
Oh, like when we were doing match of the year candidates.
Oh, I'm expecting to go 3 because we may have like 4 or 5 people this time around. So like I'm expecting like it may be one of those all day streams.
A 2-parter.
No, I just say like no. I'm not even saying 2-parter. I'm saying like we're one of those like like you have like those Twitch streamers that go just all day. That's what I'm thinking. Like we'll start in the morning and then just keep like, so, and what you think? And what you think? And what's number 7?
You're gonna need a pack of cigarettes to go that long.
When I do tobacco, I'm ashamed to say of my dirty habit, I chew my tobacco, I don't smoke it.
I'd make a joke, but I'm keeping my mouth quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
No. I was personally happy that it went to a time limit draw. I felt like that was the best way to keep both of them strong, and you can go back to the match later when maybe Brian has the title, or if Hangman's going to be gone for an extended period of time, more so than he already is. Yeah. I mean, I don't have a whole lot to say about the match in itself. It was a really good match, and if you haven't seen it, then you need to go watch it.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Just so real quick, not to cut anybody off, but yeah, mistakes. I also popped for camulation so much that I screamed like a little child. Camulation! Whenever he did it. So yeah, that was my mark out moment of the night. Easy. What'd you think of the match?
I thought it was like pretty awesome. Match of the year candidate. I actually wouldn't go that far, but it was still like pretty amazing.
You wouldn't put this. You wouldn't put this in your top 10.
No, unfortunately, because I'm going to be waiting for the rematch of this.
Okay, that's fair.
So yeah, who knows whether it's going to be at Full Gear or at another special edition of Dynamite.
That's fair, but I am going to say this. I'm preemptively going to tell you we're going to have this argument on year-end show day. I'm going to say, so Kenny and Brian isn't on there, but fucking stupid-ass fucking Nick Gage is. What is your fucking problem? That's going to be my pull the be a dick card for that one.
I promise you, I have my list. Nick Gage and Jericho is not on there. I promise.
Okay.
So, but no, again, it was a great match. The fact that I went to a draw, I was actually not surprised. I just like how like everyone was like kind of booing at this. So it's like, no, let them fight. It's like, nope. Gotta give them more. So I definitely do see this as my opinion. I think this will be the main event for Full Gear for the AEW World Championship. Unless we see Hangman coming back now, despite the fact, we're seeing advertisements for AEW Virginia and, Hangman's up there. So it's like, okay, so it looks like he'll be back. But we'll see. I think the next time they'll meet, it'll be a special edition of Dynamite for the title or a special edition Rampage, whichever one they want to do with. And then at the end with Super Click Party, which I'm happy to see them again. Just coming out there, like, trying to assist with Kenny and all that. And I don't know, I thought the Pulse match thing would really, in my opinion, was unnecessary. It's like, I don't really need another combined storyline for 2. Just, I don't know, I just didn't really feel the need for it. It's like, just let them try to keep brawling, referees trying to separate them and all that. And then, at some point, Kenny's saying, like, I don't need a rematch, and Brian saying, like, of course you don't want a rematch because you knew you were going to lose.
Now, see, I'm gonna agree with you in partial. I think, again, something we talked about before, we could have blood and guts with the Super Elite versus Danielson, Danielson, Cage, and Jurassic Express. Yeah, I got the name right this time. Yes. Yeah, and that could be what leads to the rematch. Is like, okay, my team, if the Elite win blood and guts, then all y'all can go fuck off. And then, but if the other team wins blood and guts, then Brian gets his rematch with Kenny. So, that can be used, the brawl could be used to set up something bigger down the road.
Wait a minute. I just saw something. What about 3-way match between Omega, Brian, and Hangman for the World Championship?
Absolutely not. Hangman needs his moment on his own.
Yeah.
He could.
Yeah,
He
which is
might.
why the Dark Order don't need to be involved in it.
Did you just wait
I
to
mean,
come in just for
Brian-
that?
I mean,
Yeah,
on
he
a
did.
Yes.
technicality here, Brian had his moment at WrestleMania 30 in a triple threat. So it makes you think Hangman can have the same thing kind of replicated here.
Because it's two different stories. Okay, Brian's story was having to overcome a bunch of stupid obstacles. It was when literally the corporation, the authority, management was doing everything in their power to screw Daniel Bryan over. So Daniel Bryan needed opponent after opponent after opponent. Hangman's story is I gotta beat Kenny. Hangman's story is in order to be the man, he has to beat Kenny Omega. He doesn't have to fight a system that is, point blank saying, we're going to screw you over and we're going to put a bunch of obstacles because we don't fucking like you. The opposite is with he has yet to beat Kenny Omega. He has yet to prove he is the man in the, from that core group of people that started AEW. He's yet to have that moment.
Yeah.
Hangman
I
has
also
to
feel
beat
like it's a
Omega.
man versus self story,
Yeah.
not like a
what about
man
at
versus
least a match
world.
between Hangman Brian, winner fights Kenny for the title, and that is where you see Hangman win. Long-term storytelling, or not really?
I don't like face versus or good guy matches.
Yeah.
Personally, unless it's like a Darby Allin CM Punk, like one of a
I would
like a showcase thing.
much rather than if Hangman's gonna wrestle Bryan down the road, I'd rather Hangman be the champion and be because this is also something that if and when Hangman gets the belt, I'd like to see him like go through the I beat the people coming in, like I beat the WWE guys spree. Like you don't like say that, but like kind of not so subtly go like, okay, Hangman's the champion, and then here's Bryan Danielson, and it's like, okay, he beats him. Hi, Christian comes in, he takes care of Christian. Then you could have maybe even all of the build him up like, hey, here's one of our first truly homegrown guys that got their, that didn't even have really a big run in New Japan. This is pretty well purely AEW guy taking care of all of the quote unquote big names from that have jumped on the AEW bandwagon when he was there from the onset. And then subsequently from there, you could have an MJF, a Darby Allin beat Hangman and go from there. But that's my fan fiction head.
And on that note, I just finished my pig iron.
So
I'm done talking.
Well, let Nick, since Nick's on the call now,
Yes.
and out of the chat room, what do you think about this match?
I loved it. I listened to most of what you guys had to say. I was watching. I think it was. I think I told you after it was done. It's definitely a match of the year candidate for me. I would have to go back and look at the list of matches I've seen this year, but I feel like it was probably my favorite one.
I'm gonna have to rewatch it, but I mean, like it's definitely. I can pretty well guarantee it'll be on the list, but I just don't know. I don't know if I can. I have to rewatch them all, but I don't know if I can put it above Britt and Rosa, Ciampa and Walter, Shingo and Cobb, Young Bucks and Lucha Bros. Maybe above that one. I'd say it's probably gonna be top 5 unless they top it.
I think Dragunov and Volter would be one of the only other ones that would come close that I've seen this year, which I haven't watched much Japanese wrestling, but
sidebar on Japanese
yeah,
sidebar on Japanese wrestling. People are sleeping on Hiroshi Tanahashi as a Wrestler of the Year candidate, and it really makes me sad because him and Okada had probably Okada's best match this year. Only Okada's been struggling all year, and Tanahashi's been consistently one of the best guys. So, yeah, I feel like people are sleeping on the ace this year. But other than that sidebar, Yeah,
One thing that I noticed in this match that I know something I do legitimately feel, but I jokingly argue with you about a lot. But I really felt like JR had a really good night tonight, and I felt like he added to this match.
yes, Jr. did well in this. Other than the middle of the match fucking up his like shill that he had to
Yeah,
do, but as far as calling the match itself,
but
like
yeah, as the commentator, I thought he really actually like added to the show tonight, and this match specific, he really put over like how good the match was, and like how impressed he was, and how like he made everything make sense when because wrestling inherently sometimes is a little silly, and you have to question things. Like he just he knows exactly when to plug it in to make it make sense, and he had a really good night tonight. This match showcased it.
um. So my thoughts for this match: there was no arm wrestling and no singing of John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt, so -5 stars. This match was trash. Um, no, so this was fucking like, and I put a tweet out about this, but this match to me, like, there were so many things that made me feel like this was like a love letter to pro wrestling, and what made me stay interested in pro wrestling 11, 12, 13 years ago when I, kind of discovered the independents, discovered Brian, discovered Kenny. Um, and there are just so many things that I liked about that. Just like, oh, like, I know a lot of people don't like Excalibur, but I liked Excalibur being on commentary because Excalibur called their only other match in uh, PWG. Paul Turner was the referee, and I believe Paul Turner was the referee in the Brian versus Kenny versus Tyler Black match, the only time that Kenny and Brian ever touched in a single sort of match um, in Ring of Honor. So it's like you got all these parts of kind of their roots in independent wrestling's past as part of this match. And then, add on top of that TNT, Jim Ross, Tony Schiavone, big stadium, primetime TV. It's like, you know, Brian and Kenny's past has met like, it's I want to say, I don't know if come full circle is the right way to describe it, but it's like it shows like here's their roots and here's where they're going, and now from these beginnings that they're paying homage to, you see everything they've become to legitimately the best legends. And yeah, I loved it. Is it the match of the year? I don't know. I think the call for it to go to a time limit draw was a good one. I think there were multiple. The only other option would be Brian win, with like a roll up. He was in Ring of Honor. He had a small package that nobody could kick out of, and they jokingly called him Mr. Small Package. So, I mean, I would have been okay with that had they pulled that card out. But you
If
know,
Kenny hadn't just lost to Christian Cage, then I would have been
I
okay
think
with
that's the
that.
only thing. But I could also see that was, that's a trope though. Like that is a trope in wrestling, whether good or bad. Like that's something they do in New Japan all the time. The champion loses 3 matches in the G1, then he's got 3 challengers out of that. You know, um, does that necessarily is it an apples to apples comparison? Not necessarily, but I think it's something that wouldn't have been a terrible option had they pulled the trigger. Um,
I think they handled this
but
being a
they handled it
non-title
well.
match well too, because
I'm just observing other sides. I'm not like saying it was a bad call.
no. I just know that it really annoys me in wrestling generally, like when the champion is in a non-championship match. Um, Especially like the very common trope in recent years of like you beat the champion and you get a shot at the title. That makes no sense to me. But
So
I
you
like the
so
fact that he was just blatantly said like I don't care about the title right now. I just want to see who's better. Like don't even talk about the title. Let's just have this match outside of the championship conversation. And I'm
so
glad they like addressed that.
yeah. So just quick sidebar. So do you not like the idea of like if a champion loses in the G1, like they
The
have to
G1 is different
Okay.
because the G1 is a tournament that's like not out of canon, but it doesn't count. Like it wouldn't count toward your ranking necessarily. Like you know what I mean? It's its own little thing. You're wrestling every single night, like you're on this rigorous tour. Like that's I'm fine with that.
Okay.
But it's more like the WWE thing of like having your champion lose or just being in non-title matches just generally like for no reason. The champion wrestles, it should be for the title
In a singles match.
in a singles match. And if you don't, you have to give me a reason, and they gave me a reason.
Right. Okay, so there's that. And if you can believe it or not, there's a whole other part of the show to talk about. CM Punk has an interview. Good interview. Punk can control a crowd. I'm not gonna be a player hater. It was a good interview, but I'm also not gonna say that I was completely enamored with what he had to say, because that's just my prerogative. But good job. I'll let the people that like CM Punk more than me have at it now.
You want in, or you want me to go
That's you
first?
guys. you all like CM Punk
I know,
more
we're just
than
like
me.
waiting, like who wants to go first?
Who's gonna go?
All right, I'll go. Okay, so personally, like this promo felt pumped up. Like holy shit! Like finally, we didn't just see CM Punk today. We just saw CM Punk pissed. So I'm honestly excited to see him fight Hobbs. Like that's definitely just gonna be a great match. And then after that, I'm really hoping. Well, I guess like the next bout after Hobbs is gonna be Punk versus Hook. So we'll see where this goes. All I know is like I can't really say much with the promo. I am annoyed that we have a crowd that can happily sing the entirety of Judas, the chorus line to Tarzan Boy, at least half of Wild Thing, but we still can't get Cult of Personality sing along. That's on the fans there. What? That's on you guys. You can't sing the entirety of Colt's Personality without bursting out to CM Punk, CM Punk. Like, come on. Sing Colt's Personality for God's sake.
To
That's
be
a lot
fair,
more technically difficult song to sing.
Yeah.
I learned the lyrics that pretty fast. I tried to play. I played that song on Guitar Hero.
yeah, it's a harder song on Guitar here on Rock Band. I will say in their defense, like, even though I'm not, looks like I'm falling apart again.
All we get is like, look in my eyes where you see the Colt's Personality, and it's like, you can look up the lyrics, people. Just sing the song. If you want to do these crowd sing-alongs. Otherwise, I'll just be that one idiot that I'm just gonna burst out saying, "Glorious."
They don't do that.
Or
It's
literally for the past few weeks, I've just been randomly bursting "Kazani because it's a catchy song.
It's a beautiful song. All right, more CM Punk love, because apparently I might be getting shut down here soon. I don't know.
I'm just looking for the Ricky Starks match. That's all I'm looking for. That's gonna
Okay.
be a good match.
Yeah, it will be.
And good back and forth promos. You can let that one breathe for a couple weeks.
Oh.
All right. Well,
I wasn't really a Rocky fan, nor am I really one. I don't really care much for boxing movies.
we got anything else on the Punk promo? Nick?
CM Punk. CM Punk.
Nick left.
He just left.
He left?
Really.
Okay. Yep. I mean, he talked about the big part, so all right, so the next match is MJF with Wardlow versus Brian Pillman Jr., this guy, with Julia Hart. So I feel like this match was like written extremely well, because it made Brian Pillman Jr. look like a bigger sort. What? No data? That's bullshit. Okay.
I've still got you.
It said no data. It'll end soon. I don't know. I think it's just I don't know if it's internet. I don't know. So we'll just roll with it until we run out. So okay, so yeah, it made Brian Pillman Jr. look better. Like he looked like he's been brought up, but MJF still won cleanly. So yeah, good match. Pillman Jr.'s got a bright future ahead of him, and MJF is still, other than Kenny, the top villain in the company. Anything else anybody want to add?
No.
Okay.
Me.
Alrighty then. Jake Hager, Chris Jericho interview. By the numbers, just kind of whatever. Cody Rhodes versus Malachi Black. And yeah, good match, written the right way. And all you people that say that Cody just buries everybody like Triple H and Jeff Jarrett, here's my be an asshole card. Pull your head out of your fucking ass, you moron. Because he's done nothing but gatekeep all throughout the year 2021. He's a gatekeeper. He's Tommy Dreamer. He's Jake the Snake. That's all he does.
I really didn't get like the amount of booze that he was getting. It's like, really, guys? He's not competing for a title here. He's just having a match with Malachi.
It's Malachi Black.
Yeah, that's why he got booed.
He got booed because he's wrestling Malachi, and people want to see Malachi be a badass. It would be the equivalent to. I'm trying to think of like a
Becky versus Charlotte.
No. I'm really trying to think of like a good.
Well, kind of like a more Becky versus Ronda situation. Like they
Okay.
Except
Wait, what about
WWE wanted Becky to be booed. AEW doesn't necessarily want Malachi to be booed. I don't think that they care. He's over, and that's what they care about.
RVD versus John Cena, or was that just
no? That was like that's just a hostile ECW crowd. I'm trying to think of like a good compare. Would be more like okay, here's one. People were booing Shawn Michaels in the Triple Threat WrestleMania 20. Not necessarily because they hated Shawn Michaels, but because there was another guy who will remain nameless that everybody really wanted to win. So Shawn Michaels got booed when he was normally cheered. That's the situation, I feel.
I got another one, actually. I just thought of it. Wasn't it like Psycho Sid fighting somebody... Survivor Series, Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, the Shawn Michaels and Psycho Sid. People want to see Psycho Sid win.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, people really wanted to see Psycho Sid win because like Sid was cool, you know, and yeah, people in Madison Square Garden wanted to see Psycho Sid win, so they booed him. But then like immediately after, it was business as usual. You know, they were booing Psycho Sid the next month against Bret Hart, and they were booing him again the next month against Shawn Michaels again. So
I reconnected.
You reconnected.
Are you guys talking about Cody?
Yeah, we're talking about Cody.
Mm-hmm. I figured.
Any thoughts on the Brian Pillman Jr. MJF match before we keep going?
Me? I thought it was good. It was a good, like a good TV match. I'm not saying good as like it was good. It was a good match. Wasn't anything like crazy spectacular, but I think everybody left that match looking better than they did a few weeks ago. So,
right, yeah, that's kind of my opinion on it. And the Cody Malachi match, I've already said my piece about how people on the internet are being fickle about Cody because they just like want to hate him because they want to just still have they want to keep the narrative of he's Jeff Jarrett, he's Triple H, blah 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 blah. You know, when like the proof's in the pudding, he's not. But then they're just like, well, he didn't lose in fucking 20 seconds again. The good person would have done that. He didn't put over Anthony Ogogo in his third match ever of all time. He should have done that. Cody's a piece of shit and you're bad for liking him.
Of all the EVPs, he is the least like accusable of that.
He's the least accusable, but
He's
he's
the
the
only one
most
that hasn't had an
accused.
extended title run. Yeah, I know.
He buried Brody Lee and won
Um,
the title right back, but he's the most accused because he's not a Dave Meltzer internet darling, and, you know, Twitter won't cancel you for, you know, liking Cody or for liking Kenny Omega, but they'll cancel you for liking Cody Rhodes.
yeah.
Real talk, me and CJ put some Cody hater in their fucking place in All Out.
Ooh, I'm all ears about this.
So there's one guy I mentioned, Cody Rhodes, like, oh yeah, he hates AEW. He's not like interested. He's just interested in becoming a superstar. He's using the Elite, you know. I don't like him and that. And we're like, so he's not supposed to go out and build the brand? Well, why isn't he here wrestling? Like, he's building the brand. He's doing things for TNT to endear himself to the network. He's putting himself out there so he can go, and you can check me out on my company, AEW Wrestling, you know, and on TNT on Wednesday Night Dynamites. Like, he's doing that sort of thing. So all your internet darlings, like your Kenny Omega and your Young Bucks and all them can fucking stay and can fucking have your Dave Meltzer 20,000, you know, orgasms match, and he can build the brand. And he was just like, oh, well.
I think Cody is hurt from all the leaving, though. I think that, like, outside of all of the, like, murky, complicated context of what AEW is right now and what the weird, like, discourse is among wrestling fans, I think that from the point of view of, like, a type of fan AEW attracts, which is a hardcore, smarky fan, wrestler coming back and leaving to go do other projects has historically not endeared them to the audience. So I think that it doesn't really matter who it is. I think it doesn't help that Cody doesn't wrestle that style, and he is kind of the odd man out in the Elite in terms of that. But I think I think a little bit of this backlash would happen regardless.
Yeah. But I mean,
I think it would probably be worse if he ever, like, he's had the TNT belt. And I feel like they made that stipulation that he can't ever challenge for the championship again for this purpose, like to kind of give Cody the out of never having to be consistently there as the champion, and I think that's fine. He's clearly, I feel like he's clearly doing good work, whatever he's doing behind the scenes, and their numbers keep going up, and I feel like, I mean, we can complain about where their numbers are, but the only way to get those numbers up is to get new eyeballs on the product, and he is exploring every single option he can, including bringing in cameras to a 9-month pregnant woman in her home, and God bless Cody Rhodes for that, because I'm sure he caught a lot of heat.
I will also say that as like a household that has two casual people in it, they both love Cody. My fiance and my son both love Cody Rhodes, like at the top of their list. So
yeah,
I think that that's important to note. And also historically, people who have that kind of fandom among those type of fans are not usually liked by AEW's like target audience.
right.
John
Yeah.
Cena point, like end of story right there, I guess.
yeah.
All
I
right.
also do want to give. I kind of love seeing Brandy flip off Malachi. Like, I think that was hilarious.
The one thing I will say about Cody was, you know, he was being booed and he leaned into it. Like, not over, like, this is where I'll make the Cena RVD at One Night Stand comparison. He didn't, like, completely just go bad and go over the top, but he kind of leaned into the fact it's like, I'm being booed. Might as well do a few things that the fans may not like.
And he
You know?
wasn't, I don't know if you guys said this, but he wasn't booed really during the Ogogo match, and that had a lot of internet, like, a lot online was pretty universally, like, thought was against Cody in that feud, and live in person he was cheered
It was
against
It's
the
because it's
Go-Go.
Florida.
it's
They'll cheer
because
for anybody that can don the red, white, and blue.
well, and that's fine. I mean, they
It was a
the
whole like me versus you in like a country, in basically like a sense of country pride match where Anthony Gogo was basically trash talking the U.S., which other foreign wrestler will do that?
Florida's a southern state, but Florida's not like Alabama red. Like Florida's like a swing
I've
state.
been to Daytona. Believe me, they are. Oh no, actually no. Last time I was down in Florida was like 3 years ago when I was still working for the cruise line. And no, they love their patriotism, especially a certain somebody who's no longer in office anymore, and that's all I'm gonna say. But no, they can take patriotism to a whole new level where they will literally put the American flag inside their blood veins because they're that dumb.
well, but
I will not be I will not be
yeah,
surprised
but
if there's ever
I
a
mean, but
headline
here's
about
also
that.
something else. The Olympics are in America. Sorry, the British people are gonna get booed. Just like if the Olympics were in the UK, the Americans are gonna get booed. That's just how it
I've
is.
never seen that. The U.S. wasn't booed when Vancouver hosted the Winter Games.
I'm just saying, like in general, like the U.S. is not going to be well received in another country for the World Cup or the Olympics for the basketball team or the red. It's just not going to happen unless it's like a country like Japan.
Also, I think a lot of this is on not on Malachi Black, but the fact that Malachi Black is so cool.
Yeah,
Like, I really don't think it mattered who you put him against. He's gonna get cheered. Like, you
So
could put him.
who?
I think you put him against Hangman, he gets cheered. Like, he's just a cool
So who's
character. Everything about him's
Malachi's
cool, and
next?
he's good.
So who's Malachi's next rivalry gonna be? Because honestly, I'm kind of thinking Darby Allin.
mm,
Hmm. I don't.
I don't
What
know.
he never. I want him to keep winning. I don't want Darby to lose. So I don't. I wouldn't want that. But
Also,
I
do
don't
we
know. It's a good
see that?
question.
I feel like
Do,
you know who would be a good kind of stopgap for uh, Malachi Black right now. I feel would be like Orange Cassidy
Yeah,
because Orange Cassidy
that
could.
might be someone that will get cheered too.
Orange Cassidy could basically have a great rivalry with anybody.
Let him get done with his stupid shit with fucking Matt Hardy and their fucking hair versus
Yeah,
hair
that part
match.
I'm like, eh.
Have Malachi and Orange Cassidy, and then because Orange Cassidy can take a loss and still be okay as long as you don't completely, as long as you don't like make him lose all the time, he'll be okay.
You know what I want them to do with Malachi Black is something that they, and it was really just only done by the commentary team. And for all the flaws of the commentary team in WWE, which there are many, I really liked this whenever Bray Wyatt was like the cult leader guy and he would get the fireflies and the cheers. They like played into the storyline of it. They were like, oh, the hold he has over these people. Like basically he'd brainwash the audience into being part of his cult. And when he was talking about like the Church of Black or whatever he said on Dynamite a couple weeks ago, I think that that's like a good explanation of like why he's getting cheered even though he's doing bad things.
You know
Yeah,
what?
Like,
This is all depending whether or not he will be all elite for this. But what about Malachi versus formerly known as Bray Wyatt?
I don't
I
want
don't
Bray
really
Wyatt
want Bray
anywhere
Wyatt in
near in
AEW.
AEW. They are bloated.
Okay.
We're already like trying to figure out spots for a bunch of people as it is. Why do we need Bray Wyatt? If you're gonna bring in talent, bring in women.
Yeah.
All right. Oh,
I
also, do we sense a little, I guess, tension between Arn and Cody after what happened yesterday?
I think Arn just legit fell and then they worked into the match. But
I didn't even notice he slipped.
yeah, I
didn't even see
did.
that.
We'll
I didn't even
see.
see it. I just saw he tried to get up on the ring apron and then Cody knocked him out, and then it's like, oh.
well,
There's been tension there since the start.
I don't think that he was really like yelling at him like get away from me, get away from me. He was like, and they
Go
kind of mentioned it on
get.
commentary. He's like, get back in the ring. What are you doing?
What are you
You're
doing
not
checking
letting
on
me
me? You
touch
got a
a
match.
woman.
Get to getting.
Like,
You know.
I'm fine. Go back. Yeah.
And he's been like that since he started because he would like get mad when Cody would like flex. or like
Mhm.
taunt in the middle of the ring. He would be like, "Get fucking stop doing
He
that,
was a
wrestle."
coach.
Yeah.
He's a coach.
Yeah.
Like
So
that's
Yeah.
what
I
a
kind of
coach
think
would
that's
do.
kind of their relationship anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, we mentioned Darby Allin earlier. Now here's for the one match. I liked the match, but didn't really like the finish. FTR versus Sting and Darby Allin. I thought they did a great job. I thought Sting has looked better in these matches than he's ever looked in
I don't know
WWE
why he was wrestling in a t-shirt. Like, really?
because he's not in shape. Because he's older and can't get
Okay, but he used to like have like his ring gear would actually cover his chest. Kind of like how Taker would look.
He also has
But I don't know.
scars from. He probably also covers up scars on his neck.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe that was that.
Yeah, it's a number of things. It was a good match. I think they've known how to make Sting look good, and Sting knows how to plan his spots to make less out of more out of less, I should say. Um, did not like Sting winning this match. And I'm a Sting fan. Darby should have won.
I agree. I never really thought about that till it was brought up in the show. This thing always wins those matches. I did like the actual ending move, the coffin drop to break up the handhold.
Yeah,
I
that
thought
was
that was
cool.
really cool.
That
But
was epic.
I just had like a really deep like, oh, sigh when that happened. Like, here we go again. Here we go again. And this time Sting wasn't just beating, some dark guys, some elevation guys. He was beating big guys, and for what? For why? Because they mattered. And I'm not saying that they don't matter now, but Sting is not going to be a tag team title holder. He's not going to be your champion anytime soon. Why does he have to win? Why does he have to get the pin, the submission, the win all the time?
are they ranked? I don't think they are, but I feel like they should be
They're not right. Well, they're not on the rankings at least.
Right.
because they beat Man of the Year, Team Taz, 3.0, and um, FTR now undefeated
Isn't the
with 4
acclaimed
matches in a
so?
row.
Isn't the acclaimed ranked #1 right now?
I'd be okay with the Acclaim versus Lucha Bros.
Yes, please, please make me happy.
Right now the top of the rankings is the Young Bucks, and then
Oh,
Jurassic Express, FTR, the Gun Club, and Private Party.
I'm sure we'll see a Gun Club match on Dynamite in the next
Yeah.
month.
Yeah.
Well, after their whole we're undefeated, and the rankings do show that they're
Mhm.
undefeated. Why are we never even on Dynamite?
I do think that, I don't know, it just seems like at some point they're gonna, although I fear for Sting in a match versus the Lucha Bros,
Right.
given how they
Yeah.
wrestle, but I think that it only makes sense at this point. They beat some pretty big names and they've all been high profile. I know that's part of like the storyline of how the matches are ranked, and it is in UFC too, like the quality of opponent or whatever. So they to me they should be in the top 5, but that could be an interesting one though, on a one off on a big special Dynamite or a pay per view even.
Yeah. So we now transition to the main event: AEW Women's World Championship match. Ruby Soho versus Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. I really like this match. Kind of the really a matter of it could go either way. So appreciated that. Um, really built up the
well,
lockjaw as this like unescapable move, because Sheeta, I believe Sheeta tapped out, and so did you know Soho and Statlander. So I'm guessing it's being built up for potentially if Thunder Rosa or whoever you know,
It's Thunder
can es-
Rosa.
whoever can escape
Ranking,
it can get out of the lockjaw. That's like going to be a big deal.
yeah, rankings we got since apparently Ruby Soho is still number one, but not anymore, I guess. There we got Thunder Rosa, Jade Cargill, Hikaru Shida, and Tai Conti. So I'm please, I am begging Thunder versus Baker at Full Gear, please.
She's beat
Thunder wins
everybody on
it.
that list but Jade, right? As
Uh,
champion.
Officially, she has not beat Thunder Rosa because it's an unsanctioned match.
No,
Yeah,
So it
no,
doesn't
other
it
than
doesn't
Thunder
count.
no.
Rosa.
Actually, officially, Thunder Rosa has not beaten Britt because it was unsanctioned. Because I think
Well,
Britt beat Rosa, like at least in like some tag matches before then. Rosa's the one that hasn't officially beaten Britt.
hmm.
So that could play into that story.
I think you're right. I think Britt did win in like a counting
yeah.
match. But yeah, so but everyone on other than Rosa, but
And
I mean she beat Conti
honestly,
if I
I
remember right.
can picture great with if Thunder becomes the new champion, she could have a rivalry with Jade Cargill, who's still beaten this year. And once we finally get the new women's championship, which is going to be the TS championship, I could honestly see Baker being champion for that title.
It's a pointless title that shouldn't even be brought in right now. And if you're just using that as like a secondary belt for Britt Baker, we love Britt Baker, but like, so what's the point of it? Like all that does is prove why this belt shouldn't exist.
I'm just still
I'd just
waiting
like to
for
see some
women's
meaty
tag
non-title
to.
feuds.
There needs to
Yeah.
make sure your division is at its peak before you bring in secondary belts. It's like right now, it's just like it's a belt. If you bring it in right now, it's just like, well, we got to have a secondary belt. Like, why don't you? WWE, for the love of Christ, has 3 fucking women's matches on their pay per view. You can't even do that on a Dynamite, and you want to bring in 2 titles? Really?
It's like they're just starting to pick up a little bit of steam in the women's division. And I can't
Taking them a while
necessarily
too.
Yeah.
yeah, well you can't chastise them for it because how many up until now, how many like Dynamite quality wrestlers did you have in that division? I mean, you have the women in the rankings list, and maybe a Chris Statlander and a couple of other
Big
Riho and
Swole.
some other, yeah. But well, Big Swole was out for a while with medical and personal issues, so you have people that are rotating in and out so much, and you've got Kira Hogan, but she's not officially signed, so you know
Maybe we could
what
finally have more crossovers with Impact or something.
they could, but then if Impact or even NWA comes in again to work with them, how many what's going to happen in those matches. When they're wrestling for that championship, the AEW is not turning over that championship to someone they haven't actually signed. That's not happening. So you know the result, and that's even if it's a good compelling match. You know what's going to happen, so it can't live up to its full potential. Get really good personal feuds going.
Mm-hmm.
Anna Jay and Penelope have got a personal feud going. Good job.
Put it
Don't
on
keep going with
TV.
those two all the time.
Put it
Only
on
put them
TV.
on
Don't put it on
Rampage.
fucking Dark and act like we're supposed to give a fuck because it's dark.
They put it on Rampage.
Start getting more of these feuds. Like if WWE is doing something better than you, then that means you got to tighten up right now. Other than being a brand that's endured, when WWE still has a superior division to you in some way, you know you got work to do. And that ain't saying that AEW's women's division can't get better and can't be better than WWE's. I mean, we saw a phenomenal match just yesterday. But
I will say that it's, just the fact that more so even than the men, just because there are less women wrestlers, and that's changing definitely since WWE started like taking it seriously. But the whole like WWE signing every wrestler that has ever sold a ticket to an indie show over the last 3 years has really like decimated the women's division, and I think that's why they brought in so many. Other than the fact that people behind the scenes like them, I think that's why we had so many like Yoshi wrestlers at the beginning.
Right.
Was just because like there wasn't really anyone left. They signed
Yeah.
everyone that there was left, and that's they had a really uphill battle. So I'm definitely not beyond criticizing AEW, and I think that the women's division they've definitely made some missteps since then, but they were also really like behind the eight ball from the start.
Right. That's them still. They're still behind the eight ball, and now they want to bring in a secondary belt. Like this is, you know, unless you have enough to make it mean something, a belt is just a belt. Yeah, it's cool that there's two women's belts in AEW compared to WWE, where there's only one singles women's belt per brand. But on the flip side, it's like, well, if there's not enough depth and there's no good writing to go along with it, is it any good, or is it just kind of like a shiny? And for right now, it's a shiny thing. It will be a shiny thing until.
I wouldn't be opposed to them doing another tournament, but
That's what I said.
I'm a tournament mark, so
That's why I said do a fucking women's like equivalent of the G1 Climax.
I feel like
Yeah.
that's what
Make
they're
there
gonna
like something
plan
like
out.
that going on like for a couple months in the women's division where you can do it in between Revolution and Double or Nothing. You can either put all the women in the same block, or you can split them up and have two women's matches per Dynamite and two tournament matches per Dynamite, one A block, one B block, and then maybe have one on Rampage. Just alternating weeks between A and B block.
and I wouldn't even make it for a title shot either, personally, because I feel like when you do that, it makes it like invalidates it if you don't win. So just make it like this is prestigious to win this tournament.
See,
I know the G1's for a title shot now, but it used to just be like this is prestigious to win the G1.
You could go in two different angles with that. I'd put the champion in there, and I would make it like either like, okay, whoever wins this tournament would have a right to go. I have a legitimate claim for a title shot, like, Thunder Rosa wins the tournament and then says
you would be at the top of the rankings anyway if you won all those matches.
So I won this tournament, and I'm going to use the fact that I am the champion to say I deserve a title shot. Or on the flip side of that, like you could have like, okay, so Thunder Rosa has done that. She says I deserve a title shot. She beats Britt Baker. She wins the title. Well, Nyla Rose beat Thunder Rosa in the tournament. So, like at Fyter Fest, Nyla Rose could say, well, I beat Thunder Rosa. I was the only one that beat Thunder Rosa in the tournament, so I want my title shot.
I think that's their best bet. Basically, like, rip off the G1 and have, like, two personal feuds, and you have a good women's division.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And here's something else. Again, I emphasize this. A personal feud doesn't take place on Dark. Because I get a lot of hate when I criticize the women's division, going like, well, they have a lot of great women's matches and feuds going on Dark. It's like, Dark is like the ultimate universe of fucking AEW.
Well, it's like saying like Mansoor had a really good run on Main Event or Superstars or whatever in WWE. Like, okay.
Yeah, Dark is a good show for some, to get some people some matches and to give talent some exposure. Dark is not a show that you build talent around. Dark is like extra stuff for people like the four of us that are like, I want to see some more wrestling and I want it to be AEW. That's fine.
Dark is there because they don't do house shows and to make the rankings like pad the numbers, not in a bad way, but like, you know what I mean? It makes them have more than
I'm saying
if you only wrestle on TV every 2 or 3 weeks.
The majority of the people that watch the 1.2 million people that are AEW is averaging. I'll look up on YouTube right now. How many of those 1.2 million are watching Dark? I'll do the Google search right now. AEW. Okay, AEW Dark. Let's find it. I can't even find fucking Dark on this thing. Yeah. Okay. So
413,000.
yeah, I have 429,000. That's a good number. That's less than half of your average viewers for your A show are watching Dark, and we're supposed to care about programs, storylines, feuds.
Yeah, you're not
On
saying
that
get
show.
rid of Dark. It has its place and it's necessary, but it's not the place to showcase your division.
No.
I really say we only need one AEW Dark. I really don't care about Dark Elevation because it's basically like Dynamite, and then we got Rampage.
See, I mean, I agree to a certain extent, but I also see Nick's point of AEW doesn't run house shows, and you need to get some of these, some of these young talent that need some ring time. You need to get them ring time somehow, and if you're not gonna run a house show, then Dark and Dark Elevation are how you.
It's necessary.
You got
You
it.
have to have that.
I say just make it into one.
But it's already long.
Dark's already a pain in the ass to get through as it is, and I like AEW.
They're 2 hours long a piece. It's an extra 4 hours of wrestling each week for AEW. Length. Well, and it's fine because they break it into 2 shows, and AEW is very mindful of not making the WWE mistake of just tacking on extra long shows. Why we have Rampage on Friday night instead of a 3-hour Dynamite. They're very, very mindful of that. So I think that's why they break it into 2 different shows on 2 different days so that they don't burn out their audience. And it's fine. It's necessary. That's their NXT 2.0.
And I think it's intentionally missable too.
Yeah.
Because you can't expect your audience to watch 12 hours of wrestling every single week. I love wrestling. It's the thing I watch and read about and look up the most probably in my free time, but I don't watch that much actively, because when I watch Dynamite, put my phone away, I'm watching it intently. I can't do that for 12 hours a week.
Yeah, and then
so I really think it serves its purpose.
And a company shouldn't expect their fans to do that.
Well, I don't think they do either, because
that's why I mean it's intentionally missable.
I don't think they do, but I also feel like sometimes they bank on the fact that we're in the bubble, and I feel like a lot of the fans are used to that. I've had a discussion on a Facebook group about AEW where the thing that me and Nick talk about all the time is hey, they need to do better recaps, they need to do vignettes, and they basically just said, yeah, fucking quit telling AEW to fucking watch Dark, watch the show, watch YouTube, and watch Road to, and don't expect AEW to spoon feed you information. Just fucking get with the program. And I'm like, that's a bad attitude to have with your company. I hope AEW doesn't listen to you fans, because that's basically being, hey, fuck off.
I do think that's a fan sentiment more than a company sentiment, though.
Yeah.
But the company caters to that, because we don't see very many build-up packages. We don't see any vignettes. So the company is empathizing with that mentality more than...
I think they erroneously assume that that's extra, that you don't need that stuff, and if you really want it, you can go find it, but I would argue that it is necessary to have all those things.
Yeah.
I mean, there's certain, again, I know the 4 of us like to go find it, but, some guy you see on the street where you're hey, go check out AEW, he's going to want to know, hey, who's so-and-so that just debuted? They're going to want to see, something on TV about them. They're not going to want to go find it on... They're not want to go find 6 pages on YouTube to go, so that's who Ricky Starks is. Okay. But, yeah. Step in the right direction for the women's division, but definitely more steps needed before we think about adding new titles. And that's probably going to get me a lot of unsubscribes for saying that.
You're all good. Oh, so new announcement that did come in. So I guess to try end on a positive note here. Um, AEW has announced that their move to TBS because of hockey going on TNT, which I'm happy about. I don't know about you guys. So January 5th, 2022, that is when AEW will officially move, or AEW Dynamite is moving to TBS. They're keeping Rampage on TNT despite what the rumors were, but Rampage will remain on TNT
That's
instead of
cool.
moving to TBS, which
That's that
I
that.
guess in a way it saves AEW from, we're still on the TNT network in a way. So that part
And
I
that's
honestly don't
very.
mind.
I mean, it's inverted a little bit, but it's like WCW had Nitro on TNT, and then had Thunder and Saturday Night on TBS. So like it's inverted with the A show being on TBS and the B show being on TNT, but uh, that's still good. Real
Also
quick,
makes sense that your B belt is on the B show too.
yeah, that's also cool too.
Yeah.
And you have a centerpiece of Rampage. So there you go. Uh,
I still hope at least during the off season that they'll have some maybe special edition of Dynamites like Fighter Fest or something, Fight for the Fallen on TNT when we
Well,
don't
they
have
said
hockey on.
yeah, like some set
they
like
said that they would do 4 specials on TNT a year,
so for
in
special.
addition to the
So you
Dynamite.
can do like
Yeah.
Fighter Fest, Fight for the
Yeah.
Fallen, etc. Be kind of like your equivalents of like a Clash of the Champions Saturday night's main event kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Or you could also have maybe your go home shows on TNT for Double or Nothing and All Out.
would
Because hockey, actually, wait for
well
May. That's
that's an interesting question.
interesting
Would it
because I
be
think
would it be better to have the TNT specials be the equivalent of, like I said, a Clash or a Saturday night's main event, or would it be better to have like the go home show? I don't know. That's kind of like that's up for discussion.
Are you saying like the Go Home Dynamites would go to TNT?
Like have an extra show,
yeah.
or yeah, okay.
I feel like that would be a bad idea because the move to TBS is in the vein, like the main point other
Or I
than
think
the
I
extra
just feel like I'm
money.
probably doing way too much on that part.
No. Well, I feel like consistency is key. So
Yeah.
if like every 3 or 4 months you're telling your audience like, okay, I know that I've conditioned you to this time on this day on this channel, but we're gonna go over here for a minute. And it kind of
Yeah.
downplays like, okay, well, every other show that we have on TBS isn't as important as this show we have right now on TNT. Like,
They're
do
going to
your
lose audience on this switch initially.
yeah. I think
Like if
it'll
this
end
is
up
gonna
working
happen.
well
For
for
a
them.
while, I think it's definitely, when we had to move periodically to Saturday because of the NBA playoffs, which, again, that's going to be actually, wait,
It'll be a
NBA has never
non-factor
aired
this
on
year.
CBS. So we're okay. We're
Yeah.
okay on trying to be competitive with the playoffs.
I think
So,
that they just stay on there every Wednesday as consistently
um,
as you can and do
although
the specials.
there is one
We'll
teensy
have
little factor
baseball
to point out.
problems.
There is one teensy factor they will have to overcome. March Madness.
All the more
Uh,
reason to hate the game of basketball.
oh, stop.
Well,
Um,
another little fun fact for
Unless,
numbers.
honestly, this would be funny if they have some March Madness games be streamed on Paramount Plus.
No way. They'll never
It's
They're
that
not going to
do
do
CBS.
that.
yeah.
Oh, sure, but IndyCar is going to have one race on Peacock because you guys hate Toronto.
I mean,
that. A lot more people watch March Madness than IndyCar racing.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
no, but from
And
another
I
discussion,
like
earlier this
I
week.
like IndyCar more than March Madness, but more people do watch
Yeah, I don't
March
give a
Madness.
shit about March Madness, but a lot of other people do.
I
Um,
do.
so last part of
I love
the
my
night we got
sports.
real quick G1 Climax update. So right now, as it stands, the B block we have a 5-way tie for first with Jeff Cobb, Evil, Taichi, Sonata, and Kazuchika Okada with 2 points each. On the A block side of things, Great Khan is in the lead with 6 points, along with a tie between 6 wrestlers: Ibushi, Kenta, Shingo, Zack Sabre Jr., Yujiro Takahashi, and Toru Yano with 4.
Didn't somebody pull out of
Naito.
G1?
Naito got hurt.
Naito, that's what I thought.
Yeah, Naito got hurt. He has withdrawn, and all of his matches are forfeits. So everybody gets 2 points except Naito, who will finish the G1 Climax with no points, and he may be out of Wrestle Kingdom. We will see. Like I said earlier, Tanahashi and Okada put on another banger. Great Okan.
Are you still hoping to
Does this
go to
make
Wrestle
sense?
Kingdom
Like I said, I haven't watched Japan recently. Does Great Okan being in first make sense, or is it just one of those like fluke early leads that happens in the G1 sometimes?
It's kind of, I'm gonna compare it to. It's kind of like it's an early lead, but it's something like, oh hey, they might run with this.
Okay.
They seem to be wanting to. He's getting pushed. So it wouldn't be I don't know if he'll win at all. Like I feel like that might be a shock. But being in contention towards the end and possibly going to the finals, yeah, I could see it. I compare it almost to like in 2018, like with what they did with Jay White, where it's like, okay, he got like some big wins and he didn't make the finals, but on that last night he had that chance, and we would have accepted it. You know, we would have accepted him just going to the finals, maybe not winning, but going. After being Tanahashi and Okada, and then beating Kenny earlier in the year, like, you know, bring up March Madness. It's kind of like, you know, you can see this one team making a run to the Final Four, but maybe not necessarily, or to the Elite Eight, but maybe not winning the championship. Or seeing your NFL team, you know, they can make the Super Bowl, but they're probably not going to win it. One of those sort of things.
As always, you know, I stand Zack Sabre Jr.
Oh, yeah. Zack Sabre Jr. should be their top guy, Gene.
Love Zack Sabre Jr. so much.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm all about ZSJ. And
I really hope we get to see him against Danielson. I know it's happened before. I've seen it before, but like,
I want to see it again.
Yeah.
I want to see the well-rounded,
Sabre Jr.'s just gotten
Sabre
better.
Jr. Oh yeah.
Yeah, since what was that, an Evolve that they wrestled? Like early Evolve?
That was like at a random fucking. The match I saw was just like at some British indie. So,
okay.
But yeah, definitely wide open, and like definitely all with Naito getting hurt, all bets are off. So, yeah. Not quite as exciting to me as it has been the last couple of years, but it's much like WWE. Even when New Japan has a bad year, the G1's always exciting. So,
are you still hoping to go to Wrestle Kingdom next year, or
2023?
With what's going on, we'll go for 2023.
2023.
I
can't
I'm
go
with
2022.
You on that.
I can go 2023 maybe, but not 2022.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is.
Talk to Wrestling Travel.
That's what I'm booking through.
Okay, that's what you thought.
Yeah,
okay,
that's where we're going.
So I got connection with them too.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to try and go through. But want to thank you all for tuning in. This was a longer one, but we had a lot of stuff to talk about. If you enjoyed, please give it a like, share, subscribe for more content, not just from the world of pro wrestling, but from the world of comic books, gaming, anime, and all things geek culture. Follow me on social media pages, facebook.com/athleticgeek89, Twitter athletic_geek89, Instagram athleticgeek89. I'm on Patreon if you'd like to help improve this channel financially. Check out some of the other videos. I'm doing a Spider-Man arc right now on Collection Comic of the Week, and that'll be concluding with this upcoming Sunday's episode. And check out the Geeking Out podcast. Really great episode that dropped yesterday with Father Guillermo Trevino. Met a wrestling fan priest at All Out Weekend, and we talked about his love of wrestling, his love of conventions, his love of comic books, and how he's integrated that into his parish. So definitely a different sort of interview, but a good sort of interview. Give that a listen.
Wait, is he actually a pastor, or
he's a priest?
He's a legitimate
Catholic
priest.
Dude, it was a great great. It was a great episode. I would love to see him like walk out Thunder Rosa someday
Yeah.
on
He also
AEW.
had.
It'd be so cool.
He also has. Spoiler. He has stories of meeting MJF as a priest.
Mm.
So just
Oh,
just keep
so
that in
okay,
mind.
so that video you sent of like Thunder Rosa getting like a prayer, like that's him.
That's
Yes,
him.
that was him.
Oh
Like
shit.
that was
Okay, that's
legit.
cool.
So I was able to find him and find out that he had social media and get this whole thing happen. But
Hey,
thank you, Father. Thank you,
nice.
Father for Trevino, for being on the show. Appreciate you. Other people has social media. Let's talk about that. Someone go first.
Okay, I'll go first then. All right, guys, it is easy here, so you can follow me at Eric Zarens. And I'm not going to give rumors, but I've kind of been thinking about trying to bring back a little gimmick I had, all thanks to Smacked Raw. That's a whole other story, but maybe bringing back the Creator King. I don't know. I'm just throwing ideas. But, anyways, but yeah, just follow me at Eric Zarens. Shout out to the PWS, the Podcast Wrestling Federation. Those guys are amazing. A lot of those guys, I'm really awesome to network with them, and especially to be on this show because I gave up my show just to be here. So,
We
but no,
appreciate that.
seriously, I do love being with Geek, with Nick, with CJ, because we all have differences in opinions. So, but
Yes.
also, if you heard earlier that I was trying out some local colas, today was Pig Iron out of Seattle, Washington. So if you have a recommendation for me, please let me know. I would love to try it out. And I'm looking for colas. I don't want fruity flavored drinks because if I want to look for some fruity flavored suckers, I would just watch some MJF.
Actually, wasn't bad. All right, who's next to plug their shit?
I will love to do a promo battle with MJF.
You will die.
I don't care.
Hold
No,
that.
I know what to do.
All right, Nick, just
No,
go.
here,
Just Nick,
okay,
go.
here. I'll give you one I'll give you one
Save that for
roaster.
next
The only
week. Save that for next week.
fine. Next week.
No social media
No social media for Nick.
for Nick.
All right. CJ, you got social media.
I got a tweeter. CJ at CJ Team All Zeros, and I might actually put some stuff up there.
All right. So definitely follow all of them except Nick. You don't have social media. And tune in next week for Easy's roast of MJF.
I'm not scared.
Oh yeah.
I did a promo roast of Hulk Hogan for Aussie Lucian.
Yeah,
If you
but
actually go onto
Hogan is so
Spotify,
easy.
Yeah,
you'll
Hogan's
find me.
easy. MJF's a little bit harder, but yeah. So for Nick, Easy, and CJ, I am the Athletic Geek. We're just Marks, and we're out. Have a good one. All right, that's good.